Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video I am going to be doing escapist book recommendations. This is a video that I was planning on doing for a little bit now, especially now that everyone is pretty much in quarantine and there's not a ton you can do. Plus a lot of people are feeling really anxious due to that and kind of stir crazy, which totally valid and I totally get that, but I also got a request to do this, so of course I had to do it. So yeah, I have books that are fantasy, I have books that are science fiction, adult romance contemporary, I have a manga on here, I have regular young adult contemporary, so there's a wide range of things, so just keep watching and you might find something that piques your interest. So the first one that I have, these are in no particular order, is the manga that I mentioned, and that is Waiting for Spring, Volume 1, all of the volumes, but I'm just gonna hold up the one. This is a shoujo manga about a girl named Mitsuki who doesn't really have that many friends, and starting in high school she is working at this cafe, and these four boys that are in her grade and on the basketball team, they're really popular, come in and they form an unlikely friendship amongst the five of them, and it's really sweet. I absolutely adore this manga series. Not all of the volumes have been 5 out of 5 stars for me, but that's just because there's one character that I really don't like. But other than that, it's really wonderful and I highly recommend it. So if you're looking for something really sweet to kind of distract you for an hour or so, I feel like this would be a really good pick. My next recommendation is a fantasy, and it's kind of a little bit older at this point, and that is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This, as well as Legendary, since I haven't finished Finale, I read so quickly and completely swept me away. Not everyone feels that way, but I feel like it is safe to say that they are really quick reads, so if that's something that you're looking for, this is really great. I think that these are really atmospheric. This is basically about a girl named Scarlett and her sister Donatella, and they end up going to this festival called Caraval, and it's basically a huge game, but there's like some magical elements and you're not sure what's real and what's not, and it's really interesting. It's kind of mysterious, it's definitely whimsical. It gave me Alice in Wonderland vibes, and I just absolutely adore this series. So this one I highly recommend, as well as Legendary. Legendary I read in a day. I love these books and I don't talk about them enough on my channel. Next, if you enjoyed that one, I think you will also enjoy this one, and that is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a fairy tale retelling about the Queen of Hearts. This is basically her backstory and how she came to be the person she is. This is about a girl named Kath who really loves to bake, and she lives in Wonderland. Okay, yeah. She lives in Wonderland, and her parents really want her to marry this king, but she doesn't want to, and she stumbles upon a joker named Jest, and they end up falling in love, having a forbidden romance, and things ensue from there. I absolutely loved this. It really took me away, really immersive, and also really heartbreaking. I predicted one of the main twists in here, but that doesn't deter my love for this. And like I said, if you enjoyed Caraval, I think that you would enjoy this one, and vice versa. If you enjoyed this one, I think you would enjoy Caraval. They give me really similar like vibes with the atmosphere that is created, and I felt like the writing in both was really beautiful. Then I have a contemporary, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. This does deal with some heavier topics. This follows Frances and Aled, who are in their senior year of high school, and they're both really great students, and they share this love of a podcast that Aled actually hosts called Universe City. And this book kind of just talks about the pressures of academia and identity, and it's just like what it's like to be a coming-of-age teenager and how stressful that really can be when you're trying to figure yourself out and you don't know what life has in store for you, and maybe things don't go as you plan them. So while this does deal with some heavier elements, this was a book that, while I didn't love it as much as everybody else did, it is still a really good book, and I can recognize that, but also I couldn't put it down. I read this so quickly, and I absolutely flew through it. So for that, I think that this is kind of an escapist book recommendation, because I was so distracted by the book that I wasn't paying attention to anything going on around me. So I would highly recommend this if contemporary is something that you really like, and the plot sounds interesting to you. Next, I have a couple more fantasies, the first one being An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This is another one that completely took me by surprise. I had absolutely no intention of picking this up ever, and one day in the bookstore I wasn't sure what to read, so I picked this one up, read the first couple chapters, and needed to take it home with me. This is about Laya and Elias, who come from two very different parts of society in this world, but they both have a similar stance in that they don't like how everything is being run, and so they are kind of rebels to the government. It is loosely based, I believe, on like ancient Rome, and it's really great. This is like a 400-page book, but I read it in just a couple of days while I had class and homework and everything. Could not put it down. I went to a live podcast for some of my favorite YouTubers, and I wanted to be reading this instead. It was super intense and I absolutely loved it, so highly recommend this one as well. The entire series is really great. Of what I've read the first two and half of the third, so highly recommend these. Laya and Elias are characters that you will absolutely fall in love with. It's really fast-paced, really high stakes, and it's just incredible. The next one is a really short book, and that is Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. This is a novella series, and it's about these kids that find these doorways, stumble upon these doorways, and they are transported into another world, and for one reason or another they come back to Earth and to reality, and they don't really like it, and so they have to cope with the loss of this place that they fit so well in. No matter how happy or sad and horrible that world was, it was just a better fit for them than Earth was, and so they are sent to Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, where there are kids just like them. This one is kind of a mystery thriller, but all of the following books kind of follow the kids as they delve into the different worlds, and that's really cool because you get to see all of the different places that they came from. These are really whimsical. People complain that they are not long enough, but I think that they are the perfect length, and they're just really beautifully crafted in my opinion. Some of them are pretty dark, but I absolutely adore them, and like I said, this is a series, so there are 5 books out, and even though they are short, you can just binge all of them, and it's amazing. I apologize, I ran out of room, which means that I have to finish this up really quickly, plus the lighting is quickly disappearing on me. So the next one that I have to recommend, it wouldn't be a recommendations video if I didn't throw my favorite book in your face, and that is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. This is a sci-fi classic. This is about a kid named Ender, and he is called up to take a test to beat aliens. It's absolutely amazing. It takes place in space, and I loved it. I love this book so freaking much. It's so smart and really takes you away, and you can clearly see everything that's going on, and there's so much strategy. Ender as a character, you really come to care for him, even though it feels like the odds are stacked against him. I absolutely love this book, and there are so many spin-off books that I haven't gotten to yet, but if you end up loving this one, like I said, so many spin-off books that you could be, you know, busy forever. So next is not a book but a bunch of series, and for that I have the Shadowhunter Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. This is the world that Cassandra Clare has created. It's about these demon hunters, and there are also vampires and warlocks and fae, and it's crazy. These are amazing. This one in particular is the one that I'm currently on. This is the Infernal Devices, which is the prequel to the original series, the Mortal Instruments. There are so many books in this world. and I love everything that I've read thus far, and so I would highly recommend this. I cannot stop reading them. They're just so amazing. Lastly, I have not necessarily a book, but an author, and for that I have Colleen Hoover. So we have Ugly Love as well as It Ends With Us right here, but I also really recommend Confess and All Your Perfects. I am currently reading Hopeless, and that one is decent. It's not her best. My personal favorite would be Ugly Love and It Ends With Us, and then Confess after that. I really love Colleen Hoover's books. They are romantic contemporaries, and they're really good, but they also always really deal with heavier elements, and for that, like, it just blows me away every single time. I really recommend her books. They're incredible. She also has Verity, which is a mystery thriller, so if that's something that you're interested in, I highly recommend that one as well. That is also, I could not put that down. I never can put Colleen Hoover's books down, so highly recommend. One of my favorite authors of all time, and I've not even finished all of her books. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this book recommendations video. I hope that you're all staying safe, staying inside, and I hope you're all doing well, reading mentally and otherwise, and health-wise, especially now. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.